Hi, Nina.
Hi, Dina.
Thanks so much for being on to share your experience in Immigrant Finance School. It's such a pleasure to have you in the program.
Yeah, no, I really loved the program and thank you for having me.
Of course, thanks. So yeah, I'd love to share with people your experience starting off with what was going on before you joined Immigrant Finance School that made you want to be part of it.
Before joining Immigrant Finance School, I was really trying to understand and learn more about personal finance. To give more context, like I'm going to be entering medical school this upcoming fall, and I'm the first person in my family to become a doctor. I'm also the first person in my family to graduate from college. And so being like the first in my family meant like I had to learn things a lot on my own. And the personal finance journey was really tough for me because growing up in a low income household, that really fostered like this scarcity mindset that was very hard for me to break out of. Like I always felt like nothing, we didn't have enough money. And building wealth was something that the only really wealthy people who already had those kind of connections or had um, like that generational wealth already could do. So through IFS, like I found that I can actually get started and do that. So I'm very thankful for IFS for showing me the way.
Yay, that's so exciting. And just remembering when we first spoke, that you were actively trying to learn this stuff, and I think you mentioned like reading a lot of finance books and going to some even conferences about finance.
Yeah,
But there was just something like the how to was missing of like what the next steps were, right?
exactly. Yeah. And one thing that I love about IFS is that it tailors towards the immigrant experience. So like the books I was reading, the conferences I was going to, um, they were great for just basic personal finance information, but they were mainly tailored to people who I felt like didn't really have challenges that immigrants and refugees face. So, like me being the eldest child of a refugee family, there were certain concerns, like for instance, retirement, like what that looked like for my parents, because like their retirement is basically on me.
Mhm.
And it's hard to budget and figure how to incorporate their retirement plan into my financial goals and plans, right? And
Yeah.
so I think IFS was really great in terms of figuring out how to create sustainable financial goals that kept all those things in mind. Like I thought that was really amazing. And yeah.
I'm so glad it was able to help you with that. And before you joined, like having these challenges, like how are you feeling when it came to figuring out this question of how can I build wealth without having the right support? What was that like?
It felt, I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of tension when I brought this up with my parents and like my family. Um, we all of us were in that scarcity mindset. We were always thinking of all the things we would lose um, or miss out on in a bad way. Like they wanted safety and comfort and security that we were not going to fail. Um,
Mhm.
and I just growing up, like I always had to take very, very calculated risks.
Mhm.
Um, and business or creating an online business, which is what Adina helped me with here, like it just seemed like it wasn't going to be as calculated of a risk. Like it just seemed way too risky.
Mm.
Um, but through the program, through IFS, I figured that if I just start doing it and just kind of telling my parents and my family along the way like what I'm doing, and slowly starting gaining traction, that spoke for itself. And actually, like through IFS, like it's a 6-week program, and I'm very shocked at how I went from being like very anti, like I don't want to open a business because I'm too scared, which it's stupid when I say that, but it's legitimately what I felt like. I just felt like way too scared to start something like that.
Yeah.
um But shifting from that kind of person to like now, like I've opened 2 businesses in the span of the 6-week program, which is kind of crazy. And I'm not like these businesses, like disclaimer, it's not like, 4-figure even businesses or anything like that
Not
yet.
yet, not yet.
Yet. But
We'll get
like
you there.
the most important thing is just getting started, because
Right.
that was the major roadblock for me. Like having like just being in that space where I mean I don't have a business background. Like I'm going into medicine,
Mhm,
and medicine's all about like you sacrificing and giving yourself, and business almost seemed counterintuitive to that when we
mhm.
think of big corporation, right? So I'm learning more about how to reclaim that kind of power back in a way
Amazing.
that empowers other people, if anything.
Right.
And during the 6-week program, one of the things that really helped me continue and push forward was that when I launched, so the 2 businesses I launched, the first one was my mom's business. It's called Crocella by N, and she does amazing handmade crochet work, and she just wanted to start an online Etsy shop. So that's what I did, to help her sell a little bit more of her stuff to as a cathartic way for her to like her for her outlet and for her
Mhm.
mental health and well-being, and to get some just a little some side cash to help her sustain that hobby, basically, that could turn into something more impactful to help others, like uplift others during this pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And then when Adina told me that Coachella by N, like this business inspired another person who I had no idea who it was, but like another person to help her mom,
Yeah.
start like selling dresses and handmade dresses. That was amazing because I've never really inspired anything. Like, I don't know, I've never had that kind of impact where to complete stranger on the internet, on the interwebs, uh, to do that. So that was just amazing. And, I took that as a sign, like you're in the right, you're going on the right path, and like just keep going and trust the process.
Yeah.
And I really had to like embody that law of attraction where you just trust that it's going to be okay. And like we're doing good business, we're not
Mhm.
scammy people, we're not, we're offering really impactful value to others. And that's kind of like the mindset I'm going after, is making that impact. And it doesn't have to be through the traditional way of like me becoming a doctor, although that is like my passion. I'm able to do other things as well. And then with my second business, I'm currently coaching pre-medical students who want to apply to medical school with the application process. That is something that I'm really passionate about because I've had a really rough series of having to reapply to medical school. So I know how time consuming and how difficult that is. So I just want to be able to help more students to get over that and not have to reapply. They just
Yeah.
get in one go. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm
I
sorry,
love
it's
that
a
you
lot.
shared all that. No, that was amazing. I'm glad you brought up the example of someone who was inspired to start a business with her mom as well from you. Because I forgot to tell you, there's actually been multiple people who have brought up after seeing the business you've started. There's been at least a couple people who've mentioned it to me and how
Oh,
it made
wow,
them
more than
excited.
one.
Yeah, and so I just think it's such an amazing example of how this work and the community we're building, it's not only helping yourself, and your family, but the larger immigrant community gain more power and create more sources of income to have that more stability and wealth.
Yeah.
And with your medical school coaching business, it's such a great example too of a more social impact business where again that's going to help your family with your financial goals and building wealth, but it's also going to help the world. As I've told you, like have more amazing doctors that are going to save people's lives and who people who can relate to someone like you, maybe they're first gen child of immigrants or refugees, and the system's not made up, not made to make that easy for them to navigate the process when they don't have generations of doctors in their family. They're the first. And so for you to be able to help people navigate that, that's going to just change the world and help us have more doctors who can serve patients better and speak different languages and all of that. So I'm so excited about what you're doing and how many people you're gonna help. It just makes me warms my heart.
Aw. Another thing I wanted to like highlight about how amazing IFS is that like, you know, you helped us start with thinking about what kind of online business we want to launch, but you spend a really good amount of time like focusing on the personal finance piece, because just going back to what I said earlier about, you know, I was before IFS, I was reading books and going to conferences, but never feeling like I could act upon it because I had so much of the money fears, and my relationship with money,
Yeah.
and trying to repair and heal from all that. So like another thing I want to point out is, in our IFS cohort, um, there a lot of like most of our classmates were women. Like
Mm.
I don't know how I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but there was a good number of women who are from like, you know, immigrant refugee backgrounds, and like that was just so amazing to see,
Mhm.
because I know that just by like when I went to conferences and talks and reading books, they were more geared towards like males, and specifically like Caucasian
Yeah, yeah,
population, right? So I just wanted to like put that out there, like that, you know, personal finance isn't just all white and male. You
yeah.
know, anyone can really tap into that. And like for me, like just growing up, my parents weren't quite, like their relationship with money was broken. Um, that scarcity mindset, you know, feeling like they never had enough, and never could attain generational wealth and break
Mhm.
the cycle of poverty, just because they were coming from a survival mode. Like they didn't have the luxury of thinking, um, too much long term, because the short term was always being questioned and threatened.
Yeah.
But like I'm glad like with my generation and, you know, the people in my cohort who I love so much, I'm really happy to see like more women, you know, especially more immigrant families, undocumented folks too,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who's like considering learning about personal finance but doesn't really know how to get started because of these issues of immigration or whatever. Like Adina's
Yeah.
got you.
Oh, I'm glad you shared that too, because I think it's helpful for people to know that you learn so much from the other people. That's really, I always say to people, like, I'll give
Right.
you the step by step of what you need to do, but you're gonna learn a lot more from the other students in the program. And that's really the beauty and the magic of group coaching is it's like everyone is going through this together. You're no longer alone, and there's people who relate to what you're going through with your family because there's that connection to immigration issues, however it comes up for people.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're right. The community, you know, that's where I feel like the bang for your most buck comes in is by being able to connect with other people, because even though IFS has already ended for my cohort, I'm still keeping in touch with some of our cohort members, and you know, we're still cheering each other on when it comes to like asking questions about launching our online business, or when we just launched, like I launched two in a row during the personal finance like the during IFS. And you know, I remember telling my cohort like, hey, if I don't do this, you have every right to shame me, to let
Yeah, the accountability.
like that accountability really came in clutch. So
Yeah, and there was also I remember we shared it. It was either you or me and the alumni group we have. We have a message group with all the alumni of the program, and everyone was like, "Yeah, go Nina!" Like sharing your stuff with their network. So it's
yeah.
definitely a lot of community focus that it makes it less scary, right?
It does, yeah. Like compared to if I had just started blank on my own, like and having to learn all this myself, it would have taken me so much longer.
Mm,
And you know, that's why I think like IFS is, you know, worth it. Um, like it held me accountable. Like we had to meet every week. And you know, I'm the kind of person who like wants to show up prepared. So like I took it upon myself to, you know, every week I would either reflect on what we learned about the previous week, and yeah, I attended all the office hours too, and all the Facebook lives. Like I just tried to really like push myself and
yeah.
transform. Um because like this is something that, I've been pushing back on for so long, and I've already committed to like that path of attaining generational wealth. So
Mhm.
I should start acting like it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you've done it. You have shown up, and I mean, I think I'm pretty sure you're the first student in the program to start two businesses under it. So, you know, everyone who's listening, like, don't compare yourself. There's no
Yeah, right.
comparison
No,
to.
you don't have to do that.
But Nina is an example of like you get what you put into it, and so if you are willing to put in the work and show up, you're going to get way more support than you even need and have all those questions answered and be able to build these systems and plan to build wealth. So it's really it's up to each student, to put in the commitment, and then we got you, right? Like we'll help you
Yeah,
make it
no,
happen.
like, do you remember when I was starting Coachella or my coaching business, one of them, and I remember I messaged you and I was like, I don't think I can do this. I'm scared, and
Yes.
I found myself like retracting back into my scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, Nina, like stay in it. Like, no, don't do anything. Let's take a small step back and like, you
I
know,
remember a few times that happened.
so like I say this because it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And one of the key things I learned from Adina is like, you know, get messy. Don't be afraid to get messy and just get
Right.
started. Like that's more of the goal. And you can always like refine and perfect it as you continue.
Mhm.
But staying the course is really key, because there were times where I like wanted to back out and I freaked out and messaged Adina. Um, and she kind of helped me like get grounded and understand like, look, it's not, this is like our wildest fears and anxieties manifesting, and
Right.
we that hasn't happened, like this can also happen, this other thing can also happen, so just have faith in yourself. um
Yeah. It's
like,
that shift going from
yeah,
the scarcity mindset to thriving and building wealth. Like I'm glad you're sharing this. Thank you for being vulnerable, because that stuff comes up. Like you're literally changing how your brain works. And
yeah,
that's why I always say like most of building wealth is mindset related. The actual like practical stuff, how to start investing and all that, is not that complicated. It's like getting in the mindset where you can let yourself move forward in these areas. And so thank you for putting in the great work to do that and inspiring a lot of other people as well.
thank you. I want to share one little
Yeah.
thing, but like just given with how recent events with finance, like remember the GameStop stocks and stuff, just being able to understand what's going on is so empowering.
Mhm.
Like when the GameStop stock happened, I'm sure there were a lot of people who wish they jumped onto the GameStop train or like wanted to invest but just didn't know how. And because, through I'm in IFS and like I've just been learning more about personal finance, I understood like the risks involved with that. And
Yeah.
I think that's like the not so sexy side of investing. Like you got to learn all of that stuff, but it's so important, because once you learn all that, you're set for life. Like you don't need like a wealth manager, or like
Right.
you don't need to pay anyone to really help you manage your money, because you can already do that and you have the ability to make those informed decisions with how to grow your money and manage
Yeah.
it. Like I thought that was empowering, like really empowering. Like I remember we talked about it during office hours about it. And even like when I came to you, Adina, like I was like ready to start investing, but I just didn't know how. Like
Yeah.
even to the point of like, how do you even make an account? Like how do you know which stocks to even go for? Or um and I remember I was talking with my mom about this. Like I was telling her like I want to start investing, and she freaked out. And I was like, but no, this is like for retirement. Like did you know that your 401k, like if you were to work, that's what happens. Like it just gets put in the stock market. And so um being able to have that kind of conversation with my parents, my family, my sister too, it really helped normalize it and have
Mm.
us see like this is something that is accessible to us. We just It just never was really pictured that way to us,
Mhm.
like growing up and just yeah.
And I mean, that is financial empowerment. Like you have totally become financially empowered. That's the goal. I always make sure every student, when they finish, they can manage their own investments. So you don't have to pay some financial planner every year to do it with these
Right.
big fees. You can just be investing that money yourself. And like the fact that you could then help your family understand, your sibling, it shows those ripple effects of like not only are you empowering yourself, but you're empowering your family and eventually the larger community, because there'll be
Yeah.
friends listening, other family members, and then they start asking, how can I do this? So it's really quite, I would say, like an act of resistance to be doing this,
Yes,
right?
I love that. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing all that. So just going forward, now that the program has ended, how are you feeling on your financial journey?
Um, I feel hopeful. I'm still scared. So no by means
That's
just because I
normal.
launched, two businesses doesn't mean like, oh, everything's handy dandy. There's going
Yeah.
to be, uphill battles. And, Adina, we were talking about this earlier, but um sometimes like when the culture of our businesses shift and change, like let's say um if like a year ago or two years ago, TikTok never existed really. And so now, like for instance, with TikTok coming up and being more prevalent, like that's something new that some people shy away from. But this is also like a good opportunity for growth and for learning. And so I'm just kind of taking it like that. I'm not saying like I'm gonna be like a TikTok star anytime soon, but like being able to get your feet wet and dirty, I think like has been really key for me as someone who has always been like, again, taking calculated risk, making sure like, okay, like I would definitely succeed, like very high chance of succeeding. And this is coming from the person who also like reapplied to medical school like 3 times too. So like again, very calculated risks. I'm very careful and meticulous with what I do, and I really try to make sure like whatever I do, I'm going to succeed. But I realized that um, when it comes to at least online businesses, like being able to take that small risk up front and just getting over of the fear, like that has helped me a lot. And I feel like this goes towards like other areas of my life too. So it's not just about your relationship with money. It could be like relationship with other people in your lives, maybe if you want to invest more in that, or like your own self-confidence. Like even like me helping students if they're reapplying to medical school, I was on a coaching call with some of them. And when I was giving them advice about like trusting the process and stuff, I kind of felt like the same kind of feelings that I had when it came to overcoming that scarcity mindset.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's life
the
changing,
best.
not just in money, but like other areas too of your life.
That's the best with online business and providing, from a place of service for others, is it's like you're sharing what you just went through and helping people go through that, so that it's easier for them and to save them time and pain and money in the process. So that is so exciting. Thank you for
Yeah.
being just like such an inspiring example for so many
Oh,
people,
thank you.
many areas, from like just starting to acting despite
Yeah.
fear, um, you know, to getting over limiting beliefs. I mean, we had some conversations where like you were terrified to invest because what it would mean for your loans for medical school and figuring
Yeah.
that all out, but like facing the fears and acting. So I just love your story and the experience you've had. I can't wait to see you grow. And I know, like, I feel like in a year you're going to be a TikTok star or something. Like teaching all these people about how to get into medical school who are the first in their family. So I'm really excited for you. Tell people, where can they follow you and engage and maybe get some help if they're thinking about med school.
Yeah, so right now my personal Instagram, I haven't made one for my coaching business yet, but right now it's Dina FT Win. That's my last name, HUYNH. So I'll just spell it again, NINAFTHUYNH. There, like I have a link to schedule a free consult with me if you want to learn more about how you can refine and craft a really solid application to medical school or even grad school. And then my mom's handmade crochet business, like we're at Crochella by N. So that's CROCHELLABYN. But yeah.
Awesome. And check out the Etsy shop. They have a lot of really cute stuff. I know I was really excited to buy some really cute little booties for my friend who just had a baby. Yeah, they have adorable stuff.
Thank you for your support. Yeah, no, like I'm excited. Like we have a lot of new products that just have not been posted yet. So we're coming out with a lot of new stuff soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nina. It's such a pleasure to have you in the program.
Thank you so much, Adina. Bye.
Bye.